breakthrough therapy for electric car community and beyond. Let me know where you're watching me from, and most importantly, let me know, are you in a full lockdown? Is life normal and nothing is happening really? Probably doubt it. I feel like everyone's who's been talking to me during my live streams have been somewhat affected, not infected, hopefully affected. So there are a couple of actually interesting news that's happening finally. So there weren't that many. So I know one is Elon and Tesla delivered, I think, 1,000 ventilators to here in California. Now I didn't quite catch it whether or not it was like whether it was that they made them or they kind of made a deal to with a different company to deliver it or something in between. So I'm going to dig into that. I literally just kind of glanced through that, but there are a couple of other interesting stories that are out there. So while you guys are kind of joining, let's see. And I see already somebody asked in in the EMC Square username already asked about the Polestar 2 production starting, so we'll talk about that. Mike is joining from Western Canada. Jeff, and I see a few regulars. Environmental Canadian is here. All right, so let's talk about a couple of things. First of all, yes, the Polestar 2 production has started in China. As you guys know, that's where they're going to be producing. It's Geely is the company that owns Volvo, and this, Polestar is a subsidiary of Volvo. Essentially, they kind of want to be independent. But anyway, so this is a Model 3 competitor, pretty damn good electric car. I've seen it in person. Some people don't like the fact that it has kind of a high middle of the car. I thought it was fine. It looks pretty good. And it looks very similar. Like in person, I felt it wasn't any different. Last time I saw it was in Frankfurt Auto Show, right? So that was September. It doesn't look any different than I thought it would, just by looking at all the videos and pictures. So this is Volvo's sort of entrance into the market. Full electric. I mean, as you guys know, that they had the Polestar 1, which is a plug-in hybrid. They were only going to make like 1,500 of them, I think, either a year or total. It was a ridiculous $155,000 price. Great looking car and everything, but a plug-in hybrid. But this is like, Polestar 2 is a full electric, mass production. And so they released a bunch of statements that basically said that that they were able to have 0 coronavirus cases at their factory or within their team, and then China has taken all of the necessary steps to kind of flatten the curve, as they say, and things are much better. So I mean, the production of the Tesla factory has already restarted a while back. Jeff in the chat room says Tesla stock recovered back to 500. Go Tesla. I wouldn't say recovered, right? We don't even know where normal Tesla stock price should be, right? Because okay, it went all the way to 1,000, but that, I don't know if that was normal. I would say when this whole thing started, I think Tesla was at about 800. So recovered, I would say, would be 800, but good that it's up. It's definitely more than a year ago for sure, right? Ramon says this coronavirus sidetracks my EV purchase. Now I'm looking at gas guzzling Toyota FJ Cruiser. Oh my God, you went from an electric car to the most unelectric car manufacturer ever. Let me know why. Actually. And Michael Young asks, what is the range? I forget what the range of the Polestar 2 is, but it's beyond 200 miles. Like, it's pretty decent. I think it's 220 or 250. Don't forget, it's really hard to tell until they actually do the EPA rating. And a lot of times, because they're producing it in China, it's a European company. They do this European cycle type of the estimation. So it's really hard to predict. I think 220 to 250 is where it's probably going to land, but we're just going to have to wait. All I can say is anything over 200 miles, I think, is what people need. I don't remember what the price is going to be, though. I think it's going to start around 40. But again, they haven't announced the US pricing either. So that's one good piece of the electric car news. And by the way, this is what we do here. If you guys just kind of stumbled upon this, we do electric cars news when it exists here. And I usually stream live on Patreon first, because those are the people who are supporting me, and then I repost the next day on on YouTube. But if you're watching me on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, of course. If you already have, don't forget to hit that bell notification icon right next to it so you don't miss anything moving forward. All right, so another thing is that I saw this article on Electrek about a Model Y delivery that's touchless, and I'm sure that's not the only one, but delivering cars without touching, that's kind of cool. Now, so this is the footage of the one of the first Model Y cars delivered in Las Vegas. One of my viewers sent it to me, and you guys can see a full walk around video on my channel, which, you know, I'm essentially playing it to right now. But so it's pretty cool. Apparently, you know, they came in, like they had like disinfected room and a table and a brand new pen and stuff like that. They signed papers, and they basically were asked to watch all the videos, which is not new to Tesla. And then once they got into the car, you know, by themselves, obviously, I think they were told that, hey, if you guys have any problems, you can turn the blinkers on and we'll come out and actually help out, which is kind of like, wait a second. You're just going to completely cancel out the whole point of touchless delivery. But you know, and apparently there was like literally 6 feet distance and everything was cool, and they were able to get the delivery. So I thought it was great. There are also reports of mobile service doing the remote unlocking for Tesla services. So that was pretty cool. I really actually I actually enjoyed that. I mean, this is the way to deliver cars and still do business during this whole coronavirus thing. Now, I know they can't make more cars like right now, but still, I mean, it's still the end of the first quarter, right? They do want to deliver the cars that they already have. So I wonder how the market's going to react to this. Like, you know, everything's down, so you're going to blame them for that. So I'm curious to know. So that's another great news that I saw, but you know, the news is still pretty kind of flat. That's why I've been kind of making videos that are more of a general type, especially for people who maybe don't know as much about electric cars. So I'm putting out those videos. Like today I'm working on a video like, what if you're in a bit of a pickle, you know, have a Tesla or have an electric car, any other really car, and then, you know, you're because you got laid off or you're not getting enough hours or you had to stop working, and you can't make your payment, you can't make your car payment, you know, what do you do? So there are kind of ways around it, and some of the financial institutions are catering to people who are kind of in a pickle. So that's the kind of videos I'm making nowadays, but also like hanging out with you guys and just kind of answering some questions and just kind of let me know how your life has changed. I gotta tell you, I feel like people are, at least here in California and myself, we're kind of starting to get used to this. Like, I know it's still weird. I know we're still in a lockdown, but like kind of embracing it. People are cleaning the houses, people are spending more time with their family. What a concept, right? You know, they're shopping, and you know, when I've heard that there are couples who like literally go out on dates at Target. I mean, I'm single and I obviously had to cut down big time on meeting anybody. There's one girl I'm actually hoping to meet, and I had to kind of really figure out, has she been like, you know, isolating herself and everything, but our only choices to go out on a date would be like a Safeway. And she's like, well, we might as well walk around a Safeway and shop, right? So things are very different now is what I'm saying. And let me know if you're single, how are you guys managing your single life right now? Obviously you got to be responsible, but obviously, you know, you still want to, you know, continue with your life. So I've been I'm a super paranoid guy in general, and I'm very much a germaphobe. So I had to like really like almost have her pull up her health records and her daily log where she's been to kind of agree to this, but I'm excited. So we'll see. But a lot of people are kind of getting used to it. I know a few people who work for Starbucks who, you know, baristas at the Starbucks that I usually go to, and I'm in touch with them, and, you know, good for Starbucks for actually paying them throughout, I think, like 2, 3, or 4 weeks period. So good on them. I really appreciate that. Obviously, you know, obviously bigger corporations, I feel like it's their responsibility to, you know, pay their workers, you know, maybe cut down a little bit of hundreds of millions of dollars in bonuses this year to your executives and take care of your people. I feel like that's the right thing to do. I know they're working on a stimulus package right now. Not doing a great job. Not that I expect them to be able to work together, but yeah. Environmental Canadian in the chat room says, if you are a regular viewer to E4 Electric, click the like icon to help Alex out. Yes, please do, you know, click on a like icon, because that does help the video to to do better. Obviously, everybody in electric car community, media community, is really down. Like the views are really, really low. Everything, any kind of type of sponsorship negotiations have kind of halted and everything. My contributors are actually. I don't know if I want to release my contributor videos right now, because if people are really not that interested, why use up a video that's really exciting, and just kind of waste it on people who are not really interested in watching stuff like that right now, and just release it when they are. And by the way, my weekly contributors are like Tom Malogny, have been contributing every week no matter what, and of course Eli Burton. We've been making some cool videos if you guys haven't caught them. But yeah, Karsten, the CEO of Faraday Future, is one of my contributors. So we're actually still trying to figure out when we're going to shoot the next episode. But Rich Rebuilds, we taped our episodes, and Sandy Monroe, I'm actually doing one with him tomorrow. We're going to talk about how this whole craziness is actually affecting manufacturing, because he definitely has his fingers on the pulse of the industry. So I'm hoping that's going to be a pretty good video. That one I'll release almost right away. If not, like on Thursday, literally after we tape, maybe then next week. So looking forward to that. Let's see. You know, while I mentioned the sponsors, let me really quickly pay my bills and let you know that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byton. Check out their all-electric SUV called M-Byte. Coming to the US and Europe. We'll see if there's a delay because of this, but the reservations are free. So go to the description of this video and reserve your Byton today. And Evanex, the aftermarket accessories. I've used to buy them all the time when I had a Tesla, but you can use E4Electric, the name of this channel, as a discount code when you purchase stuff over $100, which is kind of easy to do. They have a lot of awesome things. So, all right, let me catch up on some of the comments. Gabe in the chat room says Seattle order 120 electric new flyer buses. Yeah, you know, I don't really understand why it's that big of a deal when an order of, I know 120 buses is a lot of buses for me and you, but generally speaking, it's, you know, it's all right. And yeah, I mean, more and more cities, especially in the US, especially in California, in like more progressive states, have been moving to the green buses like for a while now. I think in Europe there are entire cities now that only run their or just public transportation with green energy only. I visited the BYD, the Biadi factory here in Southern California, and there's a video of that, which is actually pretty cool, because I literally just walked throughout the entire line, production line, and showed you guys how a bus is made. So that was pretty cool. All right, let's see. Jeff says, I love Tesla cars, even though I can't afford one yet, but I dream of a Model 2 for 2000 for $20,000 or within $20,000 range. I think there will be, I think they're working on one. They kind of almost admitted to that, but my sources tell me they are. And I don't know about 20,000. I mean, probably 25,000 is more realistic, but yeah, I mean, with incentives in some areas or state incentives here in the United States, we can get to 20,000. But you know, it's going to be bare minimum car. I mean, this is just going to be bare bones. Let's see, EMC Squared says target EPA range is 275 for the Polestar 2. WLTP, which is the European range, rating is 292 miles. Yeah, so you know what I mean? I would say 220 to 250. I'm going to stick with that is what my guess is going to be. Michael Young, I think you're following up on me following up. Says very simple, 10 years ago, Tesla had a price of $200 to $230 market cap. 200 million. All right. 200 to $230 per share with a market cap of 10 billion. Now it is a market cap of 100 billion. The price should be about 10 times as much, 2,000 to 2,300. Yeah, but I mean, people will also argue the other way, is that, you know, how can a company's market cap be so much more or even equal to a company like General Motors or pretty much any other company that they pretty much passed except for Toyota, while they're making like 10 times, 20 times less cars, right? There's some truth to that as well. Obviously, you know, market is about the future, but I don't know if $2,000 a share would be something that's going to happen anytime soon. I mean, the economy looks like it's going to, you know, because of this, so that will probably be a problem for everybody. Jeff says they blame Tesla for everything. It's normal now. Make Tesla better every day. I don't know anybody who blames Tesla for everything. As much as I'm critical of Tesla. I don't really blame them for everything. Let's see. Environmental Canadian says, "Hey Alex, are you self-isolating? What do you think of your federal government response to the pandemic?" Okay, so I don't want to get too political, so I'm just going to give you general thoughts. I am self-isolating, but I also know I'm not, because when a mailman delivered my mail today and I grabbed it, you know, that's already contact. So yes, I unpacked the package, carefully put it on, and then I wash my hands. I go and pick up food from the restaurants, because I don't want to touch a month's supply of like frozen food and canned food that I have right now. So, obviously that's contact with people I don't know, who are obviously going to work and interacting with other people and customers. So yeah, I haven't seen any friends. I've seen one friend yesterday. And just like I said, after very carefully picking, and thinking about this, gonna go out on a day to day. Though, it's Sacramento, so chances of me being stood up is like 80%. And you guys probably think I'm joking, but it's actually my real life statistics. So let's not go too crazy. What I think about my government response? Listen, I think the government is a big thing, right? So, and there are different departments and stuff like that. Our federal government, our local governments, and really local governments, and then our hospitals, right? That I think all of them were disappointing on different levels, because we've had practice, right? We've had practice with, Ebola and SARS and stuff like that. And I know none of us really cared that much at the end of the day, and the numbers have never really crossed the line where it was like really dangerous, right? But I thought after that, our governments would have been smarter. And by the way, I don't think American government has done anything that much better or worse than pretty much all other governments. I think South Korean government did something interesting and good. I don't know how Russia doesn't have all of these cases. Again, they could be underreporting, or I don't know. So that's kind of weird. Russia doesn't have that many cases. But I really expected all of our governments, federal and state, right? So we have a very conservative a Republican government, and a federal government, and then we have very liberal government here in California. And I kind of disappointed in both of them, right? Because the response has been very slow. Like, they saw it coming, and until like boom, it hit them right. They haven't done much. Even now, like, we're not testing people. Like, we're not testing people. There's not enough tests, and they're running out of beds, and only now they're sending the Guardian. I don't know. To me, seems kind of slow and unprepared, and I thought that they could have learned lessons from the last time. Federal, local, even private hospitals. And I know somebody who saw me say this just the other day. Some doctor like contacted me privately on Twitter and said, "Hey, Alex, like, hospitals can't really, stock up on all of this supplies, because a lot of their profits have to go to their shareholders." And I call BS, because listen, if you're a hospital, you make a lot of money. Stock up on the essential. Be prepared for pandemic, right? Stock up on essential stuff. I mean, we had 9/11, we had hurricanes and a lot of emergency situations in different areas. Now we have this, like, things are going to happen. You should be prepared. Running out of masks and ventilators and stuff like that within a 2 or 3 weeks after the response is, to me, we can do better. I really think we can do better. Let me know if you think I'm wrong, but I mean, yeah. All right. So that's that. This is just my opinion, guys. Like, this is where I think I'm in a bit of a unique position, because we have a federal government that's Republican, and a local government, the state government, that's very liberal and democratic. So I feel like I'm being pretty fair on both sides here. And I'm not a Republican or Democrat in general. I'm definitely independent. So overall, I feel like my opinion on both of them are pretty unbiased. But and it's not sponsored by Biden, so go figure. All right, Jeff says, we need our Sandy fix, please. Well, Sandy will be here, and again, I'm probably gonna try to release that video literally a day after. So if we're still gonna do our video on Wednesday, I will probably try to release it like the next day, this Thursday. So tape it tomorrow, we'll release it on Thursday. I had a lot of people cancel on me because they have their own stuff to worry about. So I wouldn't blame him if he does. I know me and Karsten, the CEO of Fair Future, who's one of the contributors, already had to move it twice, so we'll, you know, I understand. Um, let's see. All right. Autoline just released a great video on electric pickups, says US average guy. Michael Young says, I hope you have the Sandy Malone Model Y teardown exclusive. I mean, you mean Sandy Monroe. I don't know if he's going to be doing any teardowns. First of all, he needs to get his, you know, hands on one, and I think right now everyone who has one is going to keep it. But also, you know, it costs money. I'll ask him. It's an interesting question. Ramon A says, I have a Chevy Volt. Me too. And a Ford Fusion Energy. I was going to trade the Volt in for an Audi e-tron for towing and camping and commuting, but now I think I'll just buy a Toyota FJ Cruiser. Well, why not keep the Volt? Wouldn't you love your Volt? I love my Volt. I don't know any Volt owner who doesn't like his or her Volt. So I would definitely keep it. You know, or at least get another Volt or get another electric car. You already have this setup in your garage, I'm assuming, and you know that all the benefits of electric cars. Don't go back. I mean, all the way, especially to Toyota, man. Oh, come on, don't do it. All right. Gabe says, I wish cars have more color options, electric or not. Most colors are boring. White, gray, silver, rarely blue, red, and other colors. I agree. The colors are boring, but some people just love them. Like, I don't really get, like, people buying gray cars, for example. But people who buy gray cars, they love those gray cars, right? Because to me, you have to have a contrast, right, between like windows and lights and tires and wheels and stuff like that. And gray is like the worst color to kind of do contrast with, but some people love it. I definitely wish there would be more exciting colors. I totally agree. So maybe one day there will be a way to coat a car where you can have colors change, right? Like the lights. That would be kind of cool. Good work on your channel, says Tommy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Ramon says, and the reason is fuel cost is way lower and the e-tron is a lot of money. I'm not sure about you, but my income has been affected by this coronavirus. Ramon, my income has been bigly affected by the coronavirus. Is it Trump's word or Bush's? Anyway, yeah, so like first of all, you know, I'm no longer going to be promoting Biden starting next month, so that was a separate thing anyway. But also a couple of sponsors that were supposed to join my channel, they backed out, and obviously the views are really low. No one's submitting super chats. So yeah, my income is probably falling a lot, but that's fine. I was prepared for that. Actually, I'm very conservative with money, so I only pay myself a relatively modest salary, and I have pretty good savings you know, for my business, so I'm okay. And I don't hire any people, so I don't have anybody to take care of right now. So yeah, but at the same time, you know, the gas prices are low only for a little bit. By the time in another year or two, you will be paying more probably for your gas. And yeah, maybe not buy an e-tron, but maybe buy like a used Tesla or a newer, you know, like Nissan Leaf. You know, Nissan let me borrow a Nissan Leaf for about a week. It's a pretty decent car, especially for the price, you know. All right. Tommy says, any idea on the build quality on the Model Y compared of the 3 and the nose up? So I don't know, but I'm assuming it's a way better than the Model 3 was, you know, in the beginning, because Model 3 was, you know, production hell, putting it together by hand and everything, where a Model Y, 75% of parts and a lot of the process is shared. As a matter of fact, they're doing it with, you know, I believe in the same line. So I expect the build quality to be way better in the beginning, but also improve in the next few months as it should. So though I've seen some, you know, panel gaps on, you know, Porsche Taycan. I've seen some people reporting that as well, but I don't know. But I'm going to assume it's much better than the original Model 3 production. Dark Yuli says, hey Alex, how you doing? It's Ulysses. Hey man, what's going on? Good to see you. I've been streaming for about what, 23 minutes, it says here, just trying to catch up with my comments. Michael Yan says, Americans will always do the right thing after we try everything else. You know what, that's kind of true, right? I mean, we do end up doing the right thing most of the time, but we definitely don't learn our lessons. Though, again, I don't think that it's like, I can't say, well, American government has done a really poor job because everyone else is doing a good job. Honestly, I don't know a country, again, South Korea may be an exception, and again, I don't even know what's going on in Russia, so let's just set those two aside. I don't know any government that I would say have done a great job, right? Everybody ended up in a lockdown, everybody ended up, you know, letting the thing in before they close the borders. And even right now, borders are not 100% closed. Obviously America is a little more complicated because there's this, states versus, most smaller countries just kind of have more centralized the way how they govern. And, some of our states are shut down and some are not at all. Like we have some states that people are still like living normal life, like nothing happened. It kind of reminds me of that painting. I forget where it was, but it's a bunch of blind people. Like this is old school painting, right? Like 17th century, whatever. Or I could be totally off, but very old, hundreds of years old. But it's just bunch of blind people are going in the they're kind of touching each other on the shoulder, and the first one is already just falling into like a big trench, right? Where the last one is still laughing and talking, right? It's kind of the same thing. Like we have some states like New York that there's like they're like in trouble right now, right? They're literally running out of beds in the hospital, and not just for coronavirus patients, they're running out of beds in the hospital. So if you got in a car accident or had a heart attack, like you may not have a bed pretty soon. And we have some states like, I don't know, I'm going to assume Alabama, where they're like, yeah, we're not worried about it right now. So, but again, I can't say that America has done anything more wrong than other countries. So, I could be wrong, but from where I'm standing and all the news that I'm watching, which I try to use different channel, I try to use CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, BBC, some of the Russian media. So overall, I feel like I get pretty good idea what's going on. Tommy says, I love Midnight Silver Model 3. See, people like different colors, but still I wish there would be more. Bill says, I guess just like the oil crisis in the 70s, we'll need to set up an emergency reserve. Yeah, but we need to have an emergency reserve of like, masks and ventilators and other things, and maybe portable beds and, on-call doctors and stuff, like, I feel like we're not very prepared to this. Like, I'm sure there are doctors who are not, specifically doctors who take care of, virus patients, but still have enough training that maybe, like people who do maybe laser eye surgeries, they're still doctors, I'm assuming. They can help in some ways, right? Because this is not the time to do laser eye surgery. That's probably not necessary. I'm just saying, like, can we rotate? Like, I know doctors from Cuba flew to Italy to help out, and people, I believe, in Italy that were just about to get their medical degrees were kind of a fast line into the practice. Like, we can do stuff like that. I feel like we should at least try. All right, Carlos says, I've owned 3 Volts, decent American car and easy to work on. The windows, the non-electric components. I wish my current i3 were that easy to work on. Well, it is a BMW, so don't hold your hopes up right there. I do love the range extender. Steve says, under Trump, bigly is a new word, and acceptably. That's right, it is acceptably. Tommy says, please tell why you don't endorse Byton anymore. Are you still getting one? So there's the thing, is like, I like to be very transparent, but I also don't want to talk negatively about the brand that I still support. The thing is, because I pushed production a couple of times now, and I was already kind of like, I gotta wait for 2 years back in the day, right? So at this point, it looks like by the time I'll be able to get my Byton, my Volt lease will expire. So I probably will have to have a car before that. So I'll try to shop for an electric car this fall, where assuming the prices are going to be super low when they're getting rid of the current year models, and then I'll probably push my Byton out. We'll see how it goes. But again, I don't want to talk negatively about the brand that I've been very much in partnership with for a long time. And I also can't necessarily blame the brand that maybe things didn't turn out the same way that as I expected with people who work there, right? But overall, it was a great experience for me. Maybe we'll rekindle someday. I'm still waiting for Byton to come to America, and I'm going to be excited about it. I'm going to be reporting about this just the same. But honestly, I just it's not even even if I could, it probably wouldn't be appropriate on commenting on a business relationship, so I'm not going to. All you need to know is that no longer promoting Byton starting next month, but for now I am, because they're still sponsors this month. And you guys got to figure out how to spend Byton, right? I mean, for crying out loud, it's on a screen. Okay, Steve says, does Nissan Leaf still have cooling problems? I have not heard of Leaf's cooling problems appear again. I didn't have any myself, though. I did have a fast charging EVgo station kind of stop charging at 70%, and when I moved to the one next to it, it wouldn't charge. So I didn't know it was a cooling problem. So it was some sort of a charging problem, but the next day it was fine. So, but I have not heard like the problem appear in the news that bigly, that bigly. I never seen that lately. So I think you're fine. Don't forget, it still has a warranty and all that stuff. So if you're getting a brand new one, please lease it, and I think you'll be fine. Jeff says, I missed the Tesla trigger warning you were doing. Thought it was funny. Yeah, I know, but that didn't really help. I still had Tesla fanboys too, and I'll show you guys what he's talking about. I think I have it. Let's see. Yeah, viewer discretion advice. So here, this is what I used to put up before doing some of the videos about Tesla, where there wasn't like I knew the Tesla fanboys were just going to be like jumping down my throat. So you know, I did that. It was kind of funny at first, but people were kind of like still commenting like my problem is that if you want to comment, that's great, but comment either with a relatively you know, something where that can start a conversation, or give me some facts where you think I'm wrong. But you know, a lot of times people comment, I'm like, is this a 5-year-old that got a hold of their parents', you know, laptop? Like, I don't even know if it's an adult commenting, or I feel like people will look at the headline or watch the first 30 seconds and decide to comment, and it's like, dude, to watch the entire video, I've addressed your concern. So anyway, so that warning didn't really help. I might use it in the future, but you know, whatever. Bill says, Alex, I see the Exxon has electric pumps in England, and oh, you mean electric like charging stations in England? Any word on them trying that here in the States? I do know that Shell, because I did talk to Shell PR person, that they are, I mean, they literally have a division of like electrifying their energy division, and I have not heard them doing this here in the United States yet, but I'm sure it's coming. I mean, it's coming, right? They want to continue making money. Gabe says, I wish Kenworth started to make electric T680s and W990s again. I say BYD bus video, I like it. I saw, I'm assuming, says Gabe. I think it's one of my better videos, actually. Steve says, well, Tesla is donating SPF 90 masks to hospitals, I guess, in Northern California. Plus Freeman is retooling to produce ventilators. I think that's awesome, and I think GM is doing the same thing. Tommy, do you think, he asks, do you think the coronavirus will kill some of the startups like Lucid, for example? So I don't think you can kill Lucid that easily, because you know, they got a pretty good injection of money, and they're really in the later stages of going into production. But Faraday Future, that hasn't gotten there, you know, needed finances, might be again in trouble because of that. So I don't know. Environmental Canadian says, FYI, South Korea and the US got their first COVID-19 cases on the same date. The next day of the Korean government locked down their country and got multiple companies to manufacture masks and ventilators. No, they definitely responded probably better than anybody in the world, and I'm not surprised that that's what they did. Jake says, hi Alex, will you be attending Elon Musk's Autonomy Day? So they usually don't send out invitations until like a week before, and I doubt that they're going to be doing that in person because of this whole coronavirus thing. And again, California shut down anyway. That's against the law for them to do it anyway. If they move it, you know, if they push it and it's at some point when we can all gather, then I'll give it some thought. If I get the invitation, I should. Last time I got a press pass, so I should. Sebastian says, I hope everyone and their families are safe and protected against coronavirus. Have a blessed day, everybody. Thank you so much, Sebastian. Same to you and your family. Gabe says, I can't wait to ride the electric bus in Seattle in 2021. Hopefully the virus is slowed down. Hopefully the virus will be like done by then. 2021, that's a long time. Ramon says, I'm keeping my Volt and then just buying the gas guzzling FJ for camping and towing. Oh, I see what you mean. All right, if you have to, but can you at least give your money to a company that's at least going to use it to produce electric cars sometime in the near future? Because Toyota doesn't seem that way. Like even GM or Ford, you know, Ford maybe. Ramon says, keep up the good work. Hope you can keep making these videos. Be safe. Thank you, Ramon. I appreciate it. I will. Environmental Canadian says, please, my American friends, don't get your COVID-19 info from your media. Get it directly from the scientists. The U.S. response has been the worst of any first world country. I'm not sure. I think Italy might actually outdone us there, but I know they have older population. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is, where do you get your information? I try to get it from mainstream media, but the opposite side. So I know the truth is in the middle, then some European media and so forth. But the reading reports is tough, right? Because you can have two different doctors. They're both doctors, tell you something very different. And on top of that, honestly, a lot of stuff is just not known. Like, okay, so I have a friend who has a coronavirus, who looks that way. He wasn't even going to test because it's like takes such a long time to get the results back, and he's pretty much back to normal now. But I'm like, do I want to see him in the future? Like, when is it completely out of the woods? Like, I have a total of 3 people like that, and I'm like, how do I, like, I don't want to get it, obviously, or pass it on. So is it like with the flu when the symptoms are done, or is it like symptoms are done but then you wait another week or 10 days? Like, and doctors can't even tell you that. Like, I did research on that, and everyone's got a different answer because they just don't have enough studies, enough patients to study on. So a lot of this is unknown. So you can get your information from one doctor, and it still would be very different from the information from the other doctor, right? It's like talking to 2 of your ex-girlfriends, right? So, yeah. All right, let's see. Tommy, what's going on with Tesla in California? It's shut down for 3 weeks, or are workers getting paid? Looks like it was a good idea with the stock delusion they did now because of all this. So I don't know if the workers are getting paid. I'm assuming they are. I mean, I hope they are. I know Starbucks paying their staff still for a certain period of time. They are shut down. I think they have 25% of their force still working on like basic stuff, hopefully producing parts and now ventilators. Guy says, is Putin covering up the Russian COVID stats, or can't you say because you might get given a nice cup of polonium tea? I don't even know what that means, Guy, but I wouldn't be surprised if Russia's covering up their cases, like I know China was at first, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do. At the same time, I also wouldn't be surprised that they just don't have as many people coming in, and so maybe it doesn't travel as much. But I don't know. They're definitely very low, impressively so. David asked me, are you still a Byton brand ambassador? I am until the end of this month. Our contract runs out at the end of the month, and we're not renewing it. So I will be Byton ambassador for another 7 days, for another week. Let's see. Environmental Canadian says U.S. citizens are being misled by your media. I love it because I listen to the statements like this. When people say media, what the hell do you mean? Like, media, I'm media, right? CNN is literally the opposite of Fox News. They're both media. Are they both misleading us? Some are misleading us sometimes, and others are misleading us at other times. Like, you can't, all I can say is, like, use critical thinking, right? Watch Fox News, watch CNN, watch BBC, watch some of the independent media, and then, just figure out, just use your brain. The truth is usually in the middle. And if they all have agendas, figure out what their agenda is, and then take it with a grain of salt. Like, I feel like if you have a critical thinking part of the brain working, you should be fine. So all right, that's my worldview, I guess, that you didn't ask for. Well, I guess you did. Gabe says, I typed too quickly, so I misspell sometimes. That's cool. Steve says, isn't Chevron doing electric chargers? I thought some of the stations have electric charging stations. Yeah, Chevron and Shell and a few others. I mean, they all either buying some of the electric charging companies or doing their own. Let's see. FM says, why Byton versus Tesla? Did you lose your love for Tesla based on the older models? Seems like Byton will have issues when they get off the ground? Is it worth it? So I don't know what kind of issues Byton will have. I think they have definitely learned on lessons of other companies, and they're run by no one but top executives from other car companies, I believe, including Tesla and BMW. So I feel like they know exactly what they're doing. I've spent a lot of time with their staff. I visited them even in China, in their factory, in their headquarters. So my impression is that they will probably make less mistakes than a lot of people, especially when they come to Europe and the US, because they're going to launch in China first. Hopefully learn of their all of their lessons there, and once they launch it around the world, it's probably going to be way less trouble. Why Byton? Yes, I've owned 3 Teslas. I mean, those of you who watch my channel, even not that regularly, kind of know that I used to be a huge Tesla fanboy. I was one of the first ones to get a Tesla Model S, way before all this YouTubers and fanboys now who like love Tesla. Like I bought it when it was risky, and I bought 2 more after that. But their customer service, the way they treat their customers, was a deal breaker for me. So I backed off, and I just kind of kept my Volt. So I'm considering, but yeah, I wouldn't buy Tesla right now. Still, customer service is still horrendous. Some people experience great service. A lot of people still experience great service, but I think it's a matter of time or their sensibility. It's like how sensitive they are to some things that bother me and may not bother them. They may not even notice, right? So no Tesla for me for now, unless I get some ridiculously cheap deal on the used Tesla, and might as well buy it, right? With being prepared with a crappy customer service. But you know, I'm gonna try iPace probably, or the e-tron. If they have great sales this November, we'll see. I still love my Volt, so I'm okay just driving that, especially now that my revenues have gone down to almost nothing. We'll see how fast we'll get out of this. Let's see. Thanks for your responses and videos, says Jake. Absolutely, that's what I'm here for. Marcus says, hi Alex, greeting from Argentina. Sorry I'm late. Has to buy more TP. All right, you guys are also, you know, our toilet paper is coming back. I'm on this neighborhood app called Nextdoor. So essentially you're kind of like connected to all of your neighbors, and you know, you can talk about what's happening in the neighborhood, which is mainly lost dogs in my neighborhood. But everyone's kind of saying like, oh, there's a toilet paper here, there's toilet paper there. So it's coming back. Yeah. But Gabe says you should check out Proterra electric buses. They just reached their 100th bus order. I support BYD and for Proterra to get Author Transit Agency to green these fleets. I think that's where we're moving though. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, BYD is just they let me hang out with them and do the tour, but I'd love to do a story on other brands, of course. Steve says, I wonder if coronavirus will ever go away. Yeah, I wonder that the same. I mean, as long as it's under control, right? Like, you know, flu kills thousands and thousands of people all the time, and we're okay with that. We believe that the flu is under control. Like, the problem with this virus right now is that it's not even the death rate, right? I mean, obviously, you don't want people dying, but it's how much our hospitals are going to get overwhelmed where they won't be able to provide life-saving services to people with the coronavirus or with any other sickness. That is the biggest concern right now. FM says, I hate to say it, but what if this was something man-made? It just seems to hit at a time too coincidental. I think there is always a time where you can feel like someone made it up, but so far there is no evidence of that. And if they try to kill all of us off, this does not seem to be a very good way of doing it. That will inconvenience us and kill some people, but it's not going to be like wiping everybody out. Like, it's still, you know, once we can really figure out what the death rate is, because we still don't know how many people are reporting it or have it, because we're not testing it, we'll probably find out that, you know, it's probably not as high as we thought it would be, at least. So, all right. Jake says, Alex, any word or update on the Texas Gigafactory? And are you a Tesla shareholder? I am not a Tesla shareholder. I don't invest into stock market. And it would be wrong of me to invest into a manufacturer, because then I would have a direct profit from it. And unlike the advertiser, I will always have a personal gain from it, where advertiser is just buying a spot on my channel and not my opinion. But investing into stock, you know, you can then argue that, well, your opinion can be changed. I wonder if coronavirus will go away. Oh, you also said, Steve says, today I read that you can be affected again, infected again, I'm assuming. And if you get it second time, it gets to be a very serious disease. Interesting. See, I didn't know that. But we don't have enough cases, I bet, right? I mean, how many people got it again? We don't know. Not as many, I'm assuming. Let's see. Environmental Canadian says, Alex, by media I mean corporate media. Well, then what does that mean? I'm a corporation. This channel is a corporation, and I'm technically part of the media. So, but I'm not CNN. The science is quite actually clear, quite clear on the pandemic response. Consider the YouTube channel of the scientist Paul Beckwith. All right. Paul says, keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate it. Tommy says, will Biden build cars in China only? For now, yes. One of their new investors is in South Korea. That is a manufacturer. I suspect that they technically could put the cars together there just so they can import it into the United States without the big tariffs. But the answer is yes. For now, it's just China only. Jeff asks, where do you think Cybertruck Gigafactory will be? Nobody knows. I really don't know. I really can't even guess. Electech says, Alex, I work for a certain electric car company and it's easy to get caught up in the fanboy content. I appreciate your unbiased content. Knowing what's wrong is the only way to improve it. I agree. See, this is why I don't understand why I get jumped by like Tesla fanboys. You want people criticizing the brand you enjoy because that's the only way the brand is going to get better. You want the competition for your brand to have the competition because that's the only way they're going to move forward and produce better and better product for you. So honestly, this is why I call it like Tesla cult, Tesla fanboys, because there is no like critical thinking or even like basic understanding among them. Unfortunately, some of them have YouTube channels, so that kind of spreads. But yeah, they want me criticizing Tesla. They should be criticizing Tesla as well when it's deserved, because that's how you move Tesla forward in any other brand. You demand quality, and you demand progress. So it's kind of like if you're a real fan of a sports team, right, and they suck, you do want to criticize what they're doing wrong, or their coach, or their players who are slacking off, right? You don't go like, no, they're the best, but the standings, no, they're the best, you know? So I don't know what to tell you, man. It's just, yeah. Let's see. SFL Prepping says, help from Florida. Do you think the Tesla Model 3 will be getting a revamp? Should I wait to buy a Model 3? It depends what we mean by revamp, right? Visually, probably not. But they're always improving their cars, right? They're always improving, obviously software, but even hardware. So you can buy a car, today, and then tomorrow they're making it completely different in different parts of the car. So that happened with the Model S all the time, right? So you will never have the latest and greatest. It's like buying a cell phone, okay? You'll have the latest and greatest until like a month from that point. Let's see. I don't even know how to pronounce this username. The respiratory severity is bad. Okay, it is a respiratory virus from what I understand. FU Kung Flu. It says, I don't know, is this even racist username there? Obviously, Biden is not living up to the task. I don't know why you would say that. What task? They've actually delivered everything on time until very recently, when they had the delays with the funding, which just was affected by the way the Chinese economy was and still is, and now is worse. So I don't know what you mean by obviously. Obviously, you're wrong. Let's say, well, Biden is not. You got to, dude. Can you spell Biden? Like, I have Biden spelled right there. Can you stop spelling Biden as Byron? Like, what's wrong with you, man? There's like, yeah. Okay, so Biden is not for me due to the dashboard screen. All right, it is for me due to the same thing. That's why people buy different cars. There's nothing wrong with it. I would only be upset with you if you're buying a gas car and not an electric. But if you buy an electric car, dude, it's all good. Gabe says, if you had an electric car manufacturer, what would you call it? Wow, that's an interesting question. I don't know. I actually had an idea about like creating a fake car manufacturing company that will do nothing but like concept cars and never really get to production. So I was thinking about that. So I don't know. I know I had this concept car, shadowy figure, you know how they do like teasers, that I made out of the like 1992 Toyota Camry. I don't know if you see it. I called it the enormous BS500. So I can bring it up next time. So let's see. Let's see. FU Kung Flu says, Alex, I feel like you're tight Ted. I don't know what that means because of your negative experience with Model S. I don't know what that means, so you're gonna have to explain it to me. I enjoy your show. Had me for a while on your Facebook Tesla acquisition. Fake news. Yes, that was a great fake news video. This is my third one. I had Elon Musk become CEO of Starbucks. Apple buys Tesla, and a couple of days ago I had Facebook buy Tesla. I'm working on Tesla buys Match.com. So if you guys have funny ideas, I'm all ears. I will steal them from you though. Fair warning. All right. Environmental Canadian says, by corporate media I mean Fox, CNN, MSNBC, and so forth. I almost switched to Russian there. You independent, mostly progressive media is telling you the truth. Check out Democracy Now. Yeah, I do feel like a lot of more liberal media, it tends to tell me a little bit more truth, but at the same time, like I'll give you an example, right? So CNN every day says, oh, there are more cases, there are more deaths, there are more cases, there are more deaths. Okay, that's fine. Now, 3 days ago, we actually had a decline in both new cases and new death toll. Like it was a decline, right? You would never know if you watch CNN. It's like, wait, we have some good news. I know it's just 1 or 2 days, and unfortunately it went back up, but like, okay, but report that, right? So, and you switch to Fox News and they only report like everything that's going really, really, really good and nothing that's going. So, but what I'm saying is the truth is in the middle, and like I already found this website that reports daily statistics. And I look at the charts, and I pick the charts that I want to look at, and I look at my, and I track my own trends, and that's how I make my own decision. I don't need CNN on Fox News, but I do check with them, right? Like I know CNN was full of it when they weren't reporting the good news of cases falling. So I do watch both sides with a grain of salt. Steve says, even Love Tesla, who is a Tesla fangirl, has talked about Tesla terrible customer service. Even like Tesla. You're talking about Kim. Yes, I know. She did do a couple of negative videos on Tesla. And I think even Ben of Teslanomics did it once. Let's see. If you Kung Flu says, how's it racist? It's a flu. I don't know. I'm just wondering, like, is it? Because here's the thing. I just read it out loud and I'm wondering. So I don't know. I don't really want to go there. Tommy says it's autocorrect that changes Byton to Byron. Okay, fine. But like, still, see, you just type Byton. So, let's see. Oops, like Tesla. Okay, there you go. You corrected yourself. Did I misspell it? I would be type of Byton. That was autocorrect. Okay, but I didn't understand the other thing that you mentioned. All right, Tommy, what do you think Tesla have in store for the battery day? I don't know, but I'm gonna assume the Maxwell integration. They might announce something like a 1,000-mile battery, which again probably is not what they have right now, but they have enough technology to believe they will in 2 years. So I'm gonna go with that, a 1,000-mile battery. That's complete guess. None of it is like inside information. Let's see. I love the enormous BS500. Looks so mysterious. Absolutely. IFU Kung Flu says, Alex, I feel like you're tainted because of negative experience with Model S, and you don't even own a BEV. You own the BEV, right? So I own a plug-in hybrid now, which I mainly use as BEV. And I've owned an electric car for longer than most people have. But what do you mean tainted? Like, yeah, I am tainted. I had a lot of bad experiences with Tesla. But the thing is, I'm not harsh on Tesla just because of my personal experience. I'm harsh on them in my personal dealings with them. Well, not anymore. But I also run one of the largest Model S owners group. So I see and I'm the only one approving messages, I mean posts. So I see what kind of issues and how many people are complaining about. I have plenty of people who I know who own Teslas, and I see how many issues they have compared to other people who own different brands, right? And so my frustration with Tesla comes out of everything that I see that they do or don't do for a bigger Tesla community, rather than like my personal experience. Like, I've already learned that being a professional journalist is to keep your personal experience, even though you can share it with people, away from your general thoughts on the brands, right? So when I'm criticizing Tesla, it is because of some facts. So if you're listening to my channel or show or watching my show and you see me criticizing Tesla, that does not come from the fact that I didn't like the customer service. It comes from the news that came out, right? So for example, I criticized Elon Musk recently because he put out a chart that was misleading. It has nothing to do with me hating my customer service 3 years ago. It has everything to do with facts. So if you get on the same page with me with facts, then you will understand better why I'm criticizing Tesla sometimes. But also, if you watch my videos, more regularly, probably seen a lot of praising Tesla and actually criticizing other manufacturers because they're so far behind Tesla, like, right? So you can't just say I'm negative on Tesla, because that is just bullshit. I just gotta tell you that, because there are videos you can easily Google. You just type that in. I know you're not very good with spelling, but you can type in Tesla in this search box of my channel, and you'll see quite a lot of videos that are even called Tesla is the best car manufacturer, and like even titles like that. So what I'm saying is you're being misled by whatever it is that you're tainted with. I don't, just because my work and it speaks for me, you just have to actually watch it to have a better experience here, all right, so let's see, let me move on from this. I just got here what is happening, Michael. We're not much is happening. Oh, it's 3 o'clock. Wow, I've been streaming for like almost an hour, right? It's a group therapy that's happening, and people telling me how much I hate Tesla, so same old. Sam says, do you think that Trump's statements is realistic about the country being open for business by Easter? I'm going to go by numbers, right? So with some states like California, we went into this lockdown. It takes about 2 weeks to find out if it works, right? So you can argue technically saying like, well, this is working and the numbers are supposed to fall because we're looking at the same numbers that happened with the same type of a lockdown, let's say in China or other countries. But from what I hear from doctors, I even believe the doctor who's leading the efforts in his administration, is that it's probably not going to happen, right? I mean, my guess, we're talking about 2 to 3 months here. I mean, some of our states are not even in lockdown, so we still have some states that haven't even gone into this emergency thing. So I'm going to say no. I don't think it's realistic. It's optimistic, but I think I want him to be right about it, but I don't think that's what's actually going to happen. Jeff says, COVID-19 is so scary, I have to carry around papers to prove I can work in Washington State. Wow. That's it, mate. I thought, wow. Gabe says, why people break some Tesla owners' cars? Damage. Probably jealousy, Steve G says, I'm a little concerned buying my Model Y for what's going on now with this mess. I received the message that's coming. Now what? I think it's up to your financial situation. I would say assume that you lose your job tomorrow. Can you still get the car and be okay? Gabe says, I'm a subscriber. I appreciate it. Steve says, I'm going to pay cash. Well, then that's your financial choice. You kind of have to deal with that. Okay. Efucon Flu says, you have a Volt. Your experience certainly affected your bias. Let the Model S owners group speak for themselves. I am letting the Model S owners group speak for themselves. And if you look into that group, you'll see that there are a lot of frustrated people that are frustrated more and more with their ownership experience. So go look for yourself, man. Like what I'm saying is that stop spewing BS. There's facts right there. You can see my positive videos about Tesla. You can see my negative videos about Tesla. You can look into the Model S group and see how many people are frustrated with the service or the issues and stuff like that, or the lack of responsiveness. So again, facts, dude. It's all about facts. Let's see. Dark Yuli says, just want to say I appreciate your hard work to keep up the awesome work. Thank you. Absolutely. I appreciate you being a longtime viewer. Marcus Rella says, Rhea says, news about the Tesla Semi or the Roadster? None. I mean, I'm hoping they're still going to production with the Semi. It looks like it just completed the winter testing, but I don't know how far, they're into this. And I'm assuming this whole thing will slow everybody down. So I'm assuming everything is on hold or delayed. Let's see. This guy says, I'm very good with smelling. That was spelling misspelled. I don't know if you're making a joke. If it is, it's funny. Apple Inc. was correcting my typing. I have one eye for vision. All right. Well, I don't have, now we want to touch that. Michael Moore is a tool. Okay, dude, you're getting a little bit more like trollish. So you either need to get like yeah, I'm gonna ban you pretty soon. Is what is gonna happen. Freddy says Tesla is the best EV. However, they're overrated. I'm looking forward to LG lithium batteries. Ultium batteries. You are referring to GE? Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I do believe that Tesla is the best car in the world. Period. With one of the worst services. So, I know. Let's see. Not gonna touch the Trump topic. All right, spelling. Right, that's what you meant. You're really good at it too. I'm very good with smelling. David says it's still ramping up. Plus, with the early distancing, should cause a second and possibly third wave since the herd immunity isn't built up yet. In a year, it will be routine again. I really am hoping that we're only 2 or 3 months away from things going back to relatively normal, but then we're gonna have to deal with the whole recession thing and people being laid off and high unemployment and all that stuff, all right. Let's see. No, I don't ban people who disagree with me. Actually, a lot of people disagree with me, and I absolutely love getting into the conversation with people who can have a constructive conversation. But if you're trolling, then it doesn't really matter if you agree to disagree with me. Trolls rarely agree with me, right? So they usually disagree. But anyway, listen, if you want to grow up and have a real conversation, I'll be more than happy to. But what you're doing right now is not that. All right, I'm not going to spend any more time on it. If you want to submit another like a good comment, I'll be more than happy to discuss. If you want to continue trolling, you'll be gone. Anyway, Paul says, what do you think of the GM's EV platform? I think they're finally getting it right. I mean, let's see if they can actually do a good job on that. Just because you have a EV platform doesn't mean it's good, but the fact that they finally realize that they do need to build an EV from scratch, they do need to partner up and have their own control over producing batteries, which they did with LG Chem, like Tesla did with Panasonic. I think it's like a huge step in the right direction. So absolutely think so, but I cannot judge whether it's good or not just yet. All right. If you're good on smelling, it's okay. That's right. Losing smell and taste, I believe, is one of the first symptoms of the coronavirus. So if you're good on smelling, you're good. All right, guys. I've been streaming for over an hour now. Maybe we'll do it again tomorrow, the day after. I don't mind hanging out. It's actually kind of fun. So I hope you have a great the rest of your day. I'm going to go get some food, and then I'm going to start working on a video that I will upload tomorrow morning. So thank you all for hanging out with me. And I will stick around just a little bit maybe, but other than that, I appreciate it. Hopefully I will see you all tomorrow. Hopefully you guys stay healthy, and of course definitely remember to stay charged.